All right. Today is Friday, March 28th. I'm Jay Essen, and we are playing The Little Match Girl 3, The Escalus Manifold. And I did not turn off my phone notifications. I should do that briefly. All right. We are a little bit later than anticipated. I had planned to come back on Thursday, but my weekend proved a little busier than expected, and a video that's a little bit late is late just once, whereas a video that's bad is bad forever. I think somebody said that once. So, The Little Match Girl 3, The Escalus Manifold. In The Little Match Girl 3 by Hans Christian Andersen, the Little Match Girl collects shards from the Mirror of Belial in an effort to thwart the villainous Snow Queen. This one has a cool combat system with spells and critical hits and stuff. It's a big one. So, we will probably only play about 3 hours today, and after that we'll shut down and resume next week. I have played through this game in its entirety, and it is it's going to be interesting. I don't know that I'm going to be reading everything because in this game it is kind of an RPG in the style of Dragon Quest or Earthbound. So, to type restore to resume a save game or start to begin a new game, I type start. The Snow Queen controls her servants with shards from the Mirror of Belial, Ebenezer Scrooge explained. The demon's power not only magnifies their strength, but suppresses their faculties of reason and empathy. The little girl was wise enough to fear such power, but she showed none of it in her face, for she was as brave as she was wise. Can these creatures be saved from the mirror's control? She asked. They can indeed. Ebenezer's eyes twinkled. He saw that his daughter's faculties of reason and empathy were very much intact. But so far as I have found, the only way is to deliver a sound thrashing to the afflicted party. Ebenezer considered this quietly, with lips pursed, for the little girl abominated violence, though so many past circumstances had permitted no other recourse. Her father knew what weighed upon her heart, and he hoped to comfort her before her little red cheeks were stained with tears, and her little knuckles turned white with rage. When you have thoroughly trounced such a ruffian, the offending shard will straightway be expelled, and the injured party will come to his senses. He will thank you, I am sure, for your assistance, and you must put the mirror shard in this silver phylactery, and you must wear it around your neck until your job is finished. The old man draped a silver chain over his daughter's shoulders. On the chain there was a silver casket, no bigger than a cockleshell, and it had a hinge and a cover, and the space within would barely contain a thimble. The phylactery will impart to you the strength of the mirror shards within, Ebenezer went on, but it will protect you from their fiendish influence. Ebenezabeth hid the little casket under her chemisette, for she felt ashamed to lie on such unseemly advantages. I will go straight away to the Snow Queen, and I will defeat her, or make her see reason, as quickly as I am able, she said, very calmly. But Ebenezer grabbed her tightly by the shoulders. You will do no such thing. My darling Ebenezabeth, the Snow Queen is a sorceress of extraordinary power. You cannot hope to face her on your own. You must take these, and with this he produced 4 more silver phylacteries, each one on a silver chain, each as intricate and as delicate as the one that now felt so cold against the little girl's breast, and bestow them on whatever warriors you can find who will join your mission. The old man's voice became very grave. You must promise me, Ebenezabeth, that you will not stand alone against the Snow Queen. I promise, said the little girl. Thank you, said the old man. He struck a match, and it burned with a bright, lively flame. Ebenezabeth stared into the light, and the London apartment began to fade away. Hans Christian Andersen, in association with Inform 7 version 10.1.2/D and Vorpal version 4.0.1, presents a Ryan Veeder production. Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Match Girl 3, The Escalus Manifold. Henge. 5 white stones stand on a snowy field. In the northern sky, the spires of an enormous castle are silhouetted by a gauzy aurora. A murderous wind tugs at your flaxen curls and bites your cheeks. Huge snowdrifts block the way to the east and west. The tundra stretches out around you in all other directions. Before we go any further, let's click on Instruction Manual, which I have opened in the past. The Little Match Girl 3, the Escalus Manifold, Instruction Manual. Table of Contents. About the Little Match Girl. The Little Match Girl was once an extremely poor little girl with no name, whose father forced her to sell matches in the street. Whilst attempting this occupation in vain one horribly cold New Year's Eve, she almost froze to death, but managed to survive by activating a mysterious ability to travel through time and space by looking at fire. This discovery led to her adoption by the famed philanthropist Ebenezer Scrooge, who christened his new daughter Ebenezabeth. Since that fateful night, Ebenezabeth has learned to leverage these strange powers in her new occupation as time-traveling assassin. But she won't be able to handle her latest assignment without some help. The Party System. In The Little Match Girl 3, Ebenezabeth will team up with a bunch of other adventurers to form a party. This creates sort of a weird situation for text parser purposes. When the narrator refers to you, it usually means Ebenezabeth specifically. The you taking actions outside of combat is normally Ebenezabeth. So, outside of combat, you'll use a command like wear amulet to make Ebenezabeth wear an amulet, but put amulet on whoever to make someone else wear it. Take amulet from whoever will cause whoever to take off the amulet. In combat, the agent of a command will be whichever character you're currently controlling. The inventory command displays only what Ebenezabeth is carrying, but this basically functions as the party's common inventory. In combat, anybody can use potion on whoever as long as Ebenezabeth or the party is holding the potion. Paraphernalia carried by other party members is stuff you don't really have to worry about. The status command gives you the basic information for all party members. You can look at a party member to see their detailed stats, including any amulets they are carrying. Combat Basics. Battles in The Little Match Girl 3 follow the conventions of JRPGs like Final Fantasy or Super Mario RPG, where a round of combat begins with each unit deciding whether to attack or cast a spell or whatever. After these choices are locked in, the unit with the highest speed statistic goes first, and then the next fastest unit, and so on down the line. I do not know how ties are resolved. Inform 7 handles that part. It might be down to which unit is named first in the source code. When it's time to give commands to your units, they will appear in order of their speed stats. This might seem odd. It won't always be Ebenezabeth who takes orders first, but it should be helpful strategically. The most basic action you can take is, of course, attack whoever. Although each playable character has their own name for it, shoot or stab or whatever, they're all synonyms for the underlying attacking action. You can just type a whoever if you're looking to save time. The defend option increases the unit's own defense and resistance stats by 5 for the length of the current round, including before the unit's turn actually comes up. When entering a command for a transitive action, like attack, you must stipulate the target of the action. If an ability's description says that it affects an enemy or an ally, then it's probably transitive, but if it refers to all enemies or something, then it's probably intransitive, so don't specify a target for that action. You can use the inventory and examine commands during combat without wasting a turn. Ebenezabeth's weapon is her Colt revolver, which she must reload from time to time. Outside of combat, you can check her stats or the revolver itself to see how many bullets are chambered. You may also reload outside of combat if need be. When an enemy unit falls to 0 HP, they typically leave the battlefield. When a party member falls to 0 HP, they faint and can no longer act. If your entire party faints, you lose the battle. But if you beat all the enemies, then you win the battle. Options. If you don't feel like memorizing all this, there's an options command in the game that'll give you the rundown. By default, descriptions for all of a character's combat options are displayed when it's time to pick that character's action. The compress command will change that to a shorter list, and the decompress command will restore the more detailed list. I recommend leaving this uncompressed at first, and then compressing after you have a good handle on your combat options. You can always see the full rundown of a character and their actions with a look at whoever command. By default, there's a press any key prompt after each unit takes its turn. I think this makes it more dramatic and easier to follow than having all the actions of a round show up at once. But you can use the fast battle command to turn off this effect, or the slow battle command to re-enable it. By default, the list of units in each party shows up at the beginning of the round, and whenever you look. If you'd rather not scroll up to see that list in the middle of assigning actions, you can use the toggle full combatants command to make this list appear at each combat command prompt. How each stat works. Level. Generally, individuals with higher levels are stronger than individuals with lower levels. Affinity. A unit gets a bonus to the damage of spells it casts that match its elemental affinity. It also takes less damage when it gets hit by spells of that element. There are no fancy interalignment interactions, so ice-aligned individuals do not take extra damage from fire-aligned spells. HP. This is how much damage a unit can take before it keels over. Attack and defense. The damage dealt by a normal attack action is the attacker's attack stat minus the defender's defense stat. This calculation also applies to some other non-magical offensive abilities. Magic and resistance. The damage dealt by a spell attack is the attacker's magic stat minus the defender's resistance stat. A character with a higher magic value also has a better chance of inflicting additional effects on the targets of their spells. A character with a higher resistance value has a higher chance of resisting such effects. Speed. This determines the order in which combatants act. Skill. This is the chance, out of 100, that a unit has of scoring a critical hit with their normal attack action. A critical hit deals double the damage a normal hit would. So if a normal hit would deal 0 damage, so does a critical hit. A defending unit whose speed is higher than the attacker's skill has a chance of evading an attack entirely. This applies to normal attacks and simple spells, but certain more powerful abilities aren't subject to this calculation. Leveling up. Most enemies, once defeated, leave behind a tiny mirror shard. Ebenezabeth and her allies wear silver phylacteries for the purpose of collecting these shards. The simplest command for putting a mirror shard in an ally's phylactery is use shard on whoever. When you do this, the wearer of the phylactery will level up. The bonuses for leveling up in this game follow Fire Emblem rules. Each party member has an underlying growth value for each numerical stat that represents the likelihood of that stat increasing when they level up. So some levels will be better than others, and the results are somewhat random and not entirely fair, but the game should be easy enough that this won't be a big deal. A character who levels up may also learn a new ability, which is a much bigger deal. Make sure you try out all your character's abilities. Just so you know, no playable characters will learn any new abilities beyond level 5. You cannot remove a shard from a phylactery to give it to someone else, but there should be enough mirror shards in the game for all playable characters to reach at least level 5. So don't stress about it too much. Just relax, it's supposed to be fun. Some advice. Pick your battles. A lot of encounters are too much for Ebenezabeth to handle on her own. If a challenge is too hard, don't bang your head against it. Go look at something else and come back to the hard part when you're better prepared. Don't worry that you're messing something up. I don't think there's any way to reach an unwinnable state or miss out permanently on an opportunity. I guess it's possible to spend your mirror shards unwisely, though. It's okay to lose a battle. You'll just respawn at a convenient spot nearby. It's also okay to run away. There's no penalty for fleeing. The Little Match Girl and Ebenezabeth Scrooge are copyright 1845 Hans Christian Andersen. All rights reserved. So, this is how The Little Match Girl 3 is played. Let's examine ourselves. Ebenezabeth, Little Match Girl, Level 1. Affinity Fire. Hit points 25 out of 25. Attack 10. Defense 5. Magic 8. Resistance 5. Speed 9, Skill 10. Her actions include shoot, fire your revolver at an enemy. She has 6 out of 6 shots remaining in her ammo. Defend, to brace yourself for an attack. Reload, to load up the barrel of your 6-shooter. And bolster will spend 3 hit points to increase an ally's attack temporarily. You look down at your hands and you realize with some despair, though not for the first time, that they've grown accustomed to the weight of a revolver. Still, it's a better life than you had a few years ago. Something that occurred to me recently while I think when we were playing the last game, we always only ever get to see Elizabeth on most of her worst days, so it's easy to get an impression that she's kind of resigned and negative, cynical even. But I think it's, again, just a consequence of when we happen to encounter her, and it's not necessarily a fair assessment of her character. Let's see if singing does anything. Verbum sapienti, quo plus habent, eo plus cupiunt. I'm guessing this is Enya again, because in reviewing Ryan's annotated source code for the games that have been released so far, it does seem like that is consistently the case, that her sing command always gives Enya lyrics. Let's see. If we examine the stones, the stones are all slightly different sizes. They are all pitted and weathered in different ways, but they're all roughly rectangular, and they're arranged fairly evenly in a circle around you. I wonder if we can examine smallest stone or first stone. Okay, so no, the stones cannot be distinguished in that manner. Let's look again. We have, in the northern sky, the spires of an enormous castle are silhouetted by a gauzy aurora. Let's look at the castle. The shadows suggest a huge castle with many towers, but it's hard to tell from here. The lights keep flickering and changing. And the wind, all you can do is hope it lets up soon. And let's examine the snowdrifts. White dunes tower over you, perfect in their smoothness, and treacherous. So we can't go east or west, but we can go northwest, north, northeast, southwest, south, and southeast. I don't think we can go in... Yeah, we can go exactly the directions I just described. Let's start by going... So north seems to be our ultimate destination. Let's start by going the opposite direction, but I'm actually going to go southwest to work our way around in counterclockwise fashion. Hut. A narrow band of bare earth surrounds this tiny shack, and smoke billows from the chimney. The hut has no door. You can cross the tundra to the north, northeast, or southeast. Well, as long as we're here, let's go ahead and examine the hut. Heat radiates from the sides of the hut. Let's go in. You climb in through the chimney, inside the hut, and try your best to crawl over the fire rather than roast yourself alive. The tiny house is crammed with all the heat and light of a locomotive engine, and there isn't enough room for all the books and kettles and pillows and bottles stacked around you. A tiny, dirty woman lounges in front of the blazing hearth, cackling as you arrive. "Welcome, little girl! Careful, careful, there's a fire there! And who are you supposed to be?" "Ebenezer Scrooge," you say, wiping off as much soot as you can. "Then good evening, Ebenezer. I am supposed to be Lydia, but you will call me Lily." Habit compels you to reply, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Lily." Let's examine Lily. The tiny woman wears barely any clothes, and her skin is covered in sweat. On her little finger is a twisted ring. Let's talk to her. "What do you do, Lily?" you ask. "I'm a bit of a witch," she says. "I can tie all the winds of the world with a piece of twine if I feel so inclined, which I don't." You nod. "Do you brew potions?" She just rolls her eyes, which you take as a no. Okay. Let's examine the books. Books of poems, books of steamship schedules, books of psychology, books collected for the sake of collecting books. And our kettles? More kettles, more pots and pans, more broiling trays than one tiny woman could ever have any use for. Okay. Pillows? There is no bed, nor chair or couch, but piles of pillows everywhere, and any such pile wouldn't be a terrible place to take a rest. With the bottles. Greenish-blue bottles with no labels, all empty. Okay. Well, may as well examine the fire to start us off. The fire is so huge and so bright it burns your eyes. No, you and fire have an understanding. You reach out and take Fire's hand. Who shall tempt with wandering feet the dark unbottomed infinite abyss, and through the palpable obscure find out his uncouth way? PL 2.404-407. I'm sure that's a citation I should be able to recognize, but cannot. This takes us to The Jungle in 1933. Jungle. Night is falling on the rainforest. A warm breeze rustles the palms, heavy with crooked vines. Lobelias and heliconias burn blood red in the dusk. And a sidewalk ambles eastward through a pristine lawn toward a stately pink building. So maybe you're not in the jungle after all. Let's examine these flowers. The lobelia flowers are like dozens of curling tongues. And heliconias? Heliconia flowers curve to a point, not unlike a lobster claw. And the sidewalk. The meandering pathway serves as a casual but unmistakable suggestion. The lawn? The close-cut lawn constitutes a roughly circular area, surrounded by a not-so-impenetrable ring of palm trees. This apparently is the front lawn of the building to the east. Let's check out those trees. The trees are spindly silhouettes against the building's pink stucco. Stucco? Let's check out the building. Hidden spotlights illuminate the edifice. The building's towers and arches recall a Spanish mission, but the bright pink stucco suggests that the institution within is not exactly monastic. A sculpted coat of arms hangs high above the entrance. I'll look at the coat of arms. The emblem depicts a blue creature, a quadruped with a long flared tail, and wings, and a serpentine head. Bizarre. And that was to the east. Let's go east. Lobby. Polished wood gleams beneath a massive electric chandelier, and sea air mingles with half a dozen flowery perfumes. The Royal Hawaiian Hotel welcomes you, with a hand-lettered sign, surrounded by plumeria arrangements. There's something melancholy about such grandeur, though, when there's nobody here but you. Stylishly subtle signage indicates that the front desk is north, the coconut grove is east, and the bakery is south. The front entrance is behind you to the west. On a poster mounted near the south end of the lobby, a woman with shining black hair tenderly caresses her microphone. Trix Fabrero is performing in the Monarch Room. There's a big couch here, which could be a good place to rest. We're getting a lot of prompts to rest. If we try to sit, you flop into the couch, close your eyes. Elizabeth's HP is restored. So this is how we'll recover between our combats. Let's see the chandelier. Perhaps 100 orange-yellow light bulbs illuminate the lobby. Of course, they don't do anything to activate Elizabeth's powers. And the plumerias. The pale flowers take on the color of butter under the chandelier. Let's go check out that poster. Trix Fabrero has long jet black hair. She wears a slinky jet black dress. Her lips are jet black as well, according to the poster. The way the sign is set up implies, or you are inferring, that the Monarch Room is somewhere south from here. Well, let's not go there yet. If you come to a hotel, obviously the first place to go is the front desk. Front desk. Guests of the Royal Hawaiian check in at this massive koa wooden desk. The manager of the Royal Hawaiian sits on the other side, fussing with his receding hairline and grinding his teeth. The lobby is south. The hallway to the north appears to be for employees only. Let's talk to the manager after we examine him. We examine him. The manager is hunched over his desk. His suit is impeccable, but his resolve is fraying. We talk to him. You approach cautiously. Is everything all right, sir? He stares up at you with sunken eyes. Not at all, little girl. Nothing's all right at all. The Hunley Syndicate, a bunch of unshaven bootleggers, have taken over my hotel. I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Is there anything I can do to help? I doubt that very much. You nod. Well, I might try anyway. I appreciate it, the manager mumbles, staring a hole through his desk. So, the Hunley Syndicate are the local troublemakers, it sounds like. So we probably can't go north. Oh, we can. To the back hallway. The ceiling is quite a bit lower back here, and dust bunnies are assembling in dimly lit corners. The door to the east says office. The door to the west is unmarked. The way back to the lobby is south. Well, we were prompted with a couple of nouns in the description. We examined the ceiling. It's a very normal height for a ceiling. And let's see these dust bunnies. It's just dust. Nothing to worry about. Have you noticed that I keep putting dust in my games? What's that about? I had not noticed, actually, but it's a fair observation. Can we examine the east door? No, let's just go east. You try the office door. It's locked. A voice grunts on the other side. Password? Talk to the voice. Nope, says the voice. Then the hallway is silent. Okay. We go west. It's a supply closet. It's just a bunch of towels in here. Plain white towels. I try to take a towel. You don't need any towels. We go back east and back south to the front desk and back south to the entryway. Now let's go to the coconut grove to the east. Coconut lanai. The arched veranda overlooks a small forest of palms and ferns to the east. There's a light of some kind over there, but you can't see anything clearly from here. The lobby is west. Between you and the coconut grove stand a tall woman and two shorter men, all wearing dark suits and fedoras. I think this is going to be a fight, and I don't think I'm prepared to take on these three. If we try to examine the tall woman, it says, I only understood you as far as wanting to examine Scooch Hunley. Let's check out Scooch. The taller thug has dark glasses and a pasty mustache. Examine the woman. The leader of this crew is a lady with a pointed nose and a nasty pair of lips. Her hair is pulled back in a very businesslike braid. Short man? The shorter thug is carrying a mean-looking baseball bat. So here are our three thugs. We're going to come back to this. Let's go south to the little bakery. Lower lobby. A current of ocean wind flows through the hallway, carrying the scents of salt and smoke. But there's another aroma, something much sweeter down that passage to the east. The lobby is north, and arches to the south lead outside. Let's go to the bakery first. Bakery. It smells amazing in here. The hotel bakery trades the lobby's classical elegance for doilies and lace. The color pink has made a bold reappearance. A teenager in a frilly apron stands behind the counter. Welcome, she says, curtsying theatrically. Let's examine the teenager. The girl launches into a speech as you approach. Welcome to the Royal Hawaiian's famous bakery. My name is Mililani, and it is my pleasure to serve you this evening. Do you know what you'd like, or would you like me to make a recommendation? Everything on the counter looks delicious. Nothing has a price tag. Are they very expensive? You ask. Mililani bows reverentially. I'm pleased to inform you that we have a special deal tonight. I can't get the cash register to open, so all of our pastries are free. Just keep it under your hat, okay? Mililani looks a bit like a French maid in her apron, and most of the time she matches the look with almost military poise, but beneath this there is an impishness. Well, let's talk to her. Are you all alone here? You ask. She nods. It's not so bad. The night shift is usually pretty uneventful. Or it used to be before the Hunley Syndicate moved in. But you should talk to the manager about that. I apologize for my impertinence. She clicks her heels. So let's see the counter. On the counter are a lemon bun, a honey croissant, a hibiscus beignet, and a banana nut bread. Let's take the lemon bun and examine it. An alluring bun covered with lemon icing. It restores 3 HP. The croissant, a perfect golden croissant with a drizzle of honey on top. It restores 5 HP. Take that one as well. Let's examine the beignet, is how I'm choosing to pronounce this. A square of fried dough covered in powdered sugar. It restores 7 HP. Those are made with real hibiscus nectar, Mililani explains. Take it. And then banana nut bread. A tiny loaf of banana bread infused with chopped nuts. It restores 9 HP. Do you make any without nuts, you ask? I wish I could, Mililani sighs. We'll take it. And see if there's anything else in here. Doesn't really seem like it. So, nice to talk with Mililani. Let's talk one more time before we head out. And it's the same text, so let's just go back west. Okay, arches lead outside. We check out the arches. You can see grass on the other side of the arches. So let's go south to the lawn. At the foot of the Royal Hawaiian's imposing pink edifice is a rectangle of perfectly maintained grass, surrounded by a fence of pink stucco and iron bars. To the south, a small gate connects this enclosure to the beach. Archways to the north lead to the lobby, and the entrance to the west would seem to belong to the Monarch Room. So we can go to the Monarch Room to the west. Let's examine the grass. The grass is trimmed very, very short. And the fence. The barrier reinforces the carefully constructed perfection of the Royal Hawaiian. On the outside is the real world. Wild, unpredictable, messy. And there's a small gate to the beach to the south. Let's try going south. Beach. Waves caress the sands, and a night breeze tussles your flaxen curls. South of you is the Pacific Ocean. To the north, rows of bamboo torches flank the gateway to the Royal Hawaiian's south lawn. Waikiki Beach stretches to the east and west. For no reason in particular, I'm going to go east first. Bar. A tiny grass-roofed hut sits in the middle of the beach with a row of rustic tools set up unevenly in the sand. The man behind the counter is wearing a gigantic, tourist-friendly smile. The way back to the hotel is west. Examining the hut. The bartender waves you over. Welcome to Honolulu. Name's Denny. You thirsty at all? I don't drink alcohol, you tell him. Oh, no, me neither. The 18th Amendment still applies all the way out here. Of course, not everyone's as honest as you and me. He winks. But the selection here is all non-alcoholic, don't you worry. What's your elemental affinity, if you don't mind me asking? Fire, you tell him, although it's a very strange question. No kidding, mine too. It's nice, right? But maybe you want to change things up once in a while. Maybe you want to try being metal-aligned for a little bit. That's what I make these for. He raises a hurricane glass containing a silvery liquid and a tiny umbrella. Down the hatch, change your affinity for half an hour or so, and no side effects. Unless you don't like the aftertaste. I've got one for every affinity I know of. You glance across the array of drinks. How much? He smiles. I can't charge a fellow fire adept. Just take whatever looks yummy. I can always make more. Denny stands behind the counter, paying you an appropriate level of attention. On the bar are a Donna Juana, a Challenger Deep, a Kuniksuk, a Kulumbini, a Pewter Julep, a Roxy Lisa, an Unicorn Daiquiri, a Kapala, and a Stun Spore. We're going to check these out. I don't know how much I'm going to bother changing affinities. I can't remember if I actually did this on my first playthrough back when this game was new. The Donna Juana is an orangish drink in a lowball glass with a bunch of herbs sprinkled on top. That one will change your affinity to fire, Denny explains, so a little redundant for us. Examine the Challenger Deep. The Challenger Deep is a dark blue drink in a very tall glass. That's for if you want to try being aligned to water, says Denny. The Kuniksuk. The Kuniksuk is a bluish-white beverage served on the rocks. The affinity on that one is ice, Denny tells you. That makes sense. The Kulumbini, I'm going to guess this is lightning. The Kulumbini is a yellowish drink with a lemon twist. That's for if you want to try being aligned to lightning, Denny explains. Pewter Julep is metal. The Pewter Julep is a metallic beverage in a hurricane glass with a tiny umbrella. One is forced to assume that it must be safe to drink. The affinity on that one is metal, says Denny. We examine the Roxy Lisa. I don't have any idea what this is. The Roxy Lisa is a cream colored at the bottom, fading gradually into a caramel color on top. That's for if you want to try being aligned to stone, Denny tells you. Oh, stone. I forgot about that. Unicorn Daiquiri. If this were Pokemon terms, I would assume this is a fairy elemental, but I don't know. I misspelled that. The unicorn daiquiri is served in a cocktail glass. It consists of a pink layer, and then a blue layer, and then a yellow layer, and then a green layer, and then another pink layer with a marshmallow on top. That one will change your affinity to rainbow, says Denny. Ah, rainbow, of course. We want to examine the Kapala. The Kapala is a syrupy red drink served in a coconut that has been carved to look like a skull, kind of on the nose. The affinity on that one is death, Denny explains. Okay. And the Stun Spore? The Stun Spore is a greenish drink in a carved wooden mug, with a bamboo straw. That one will change your affinity to wood, Denny tells you. Okay. So that's a cross-section of the elemental affinities we could encounter in this game. We talked to Denny. Why would I want to change my elemental affinity, you ask? Denny is very happy to explain. Well, you being fire-limed, I'm sure you've noticed that you deal a little extra damage with fire spells. And you may have noticed that you take a little less damage from other people's fire-oriented attacks. We haven't actually had any fights yet, but I suppose. Well, maybe you learn a water spell, or you're going to fight someone who uses stone spells. You change your affinity, you give yourself an edge. A little bit of an edge. I never said I was a miracle worker. Have you saved your game lately? I have not. Let's go ahead and do that. This is... let's just call this March. Okay, we can go back... Let's examine the stools first. Huh. Okay, no stool. Let's just go back west. And check out the torches. Oh, these torches take you places. Of course they do. I completely forgot who we were playing as. And didn't consider that there would be a ability to teleport from the beach. You glance at the torches, and their flames flutter and surge in response. The huge pink hotel disappears, the beach falls out from beneath your feet, and then you are somewhere else. Wessex, 877. Riverside. The depths of summer. The air itself is damp and sticky, and churning with thick clouds of insects. This spot, at a little crook in the river, has been cleared away for laundry or fishing. At the moment, though, it's just you here. Dirt paths lead northeast and southeast. Let's see if we can see these insects. Although the gnats don't bite, and they're too small to make much noise, their sheer numbers make them an inescapable nuisance. Let's examine the river. The water is very clear and populated by innumerable fishes and such-like creatures, but none of that concerns you at the moment. Inclined to go northeast first, which takes us to Burned Ruin, the bottom half of a tiny blackened cottage. The path leads east and southwest. We just came from the southwest. Let's examine Ruin. The walls of the dwelling are mostly gone, but there's not much to see inside. A dirt floor sprinkled with ashes, a charred rectangle that used to be a bed. One interior corner, the one best shielded from the wind, is still burning. So I wonder if this will take us back to the beach, because I wasn't really done. No, it will not. You stare into the corner, into the tiny tongue of flame. It seems to wave back at you. It invites you in. It envelops you. Deimos, 2049. Deimos? It's pronounced Deimos in 13th Sentinel, so that's the pronunciation I'm inclined to use, and I think that's the pronunciation for the moon, but I don't recall. My cat... One of my cats is standing between me and the screen, as though she wants to get on my lap. A reposition. Okay, come on over here. Okay. The sky is blazing with millions of silent stars. The ground is bare rock, the color of charcoal. A nearby crater has been converted into the dish of a large radio telescope. You can go north, southeast, southwest, east, and west from here. You stop hitting the microphone with your tail. I don't think that's going to be audible, but I would just assume not risk it. Okay. Let's examine the dish. The dish is built from some grayish ceramic, difficult to distinguish from the surrounding rock. The receiver is mounted on dusty scaffolding some distance overhead. The other components must be underground. Okay. So we've got north, southeast and southwest, east and west. So rough 5 different locations. Let's start out to the east. Cavern. An aberrant gash in the rock. Not a crater, certainly not a tectonic trench. Forms a barely navigable path downward. You can also go northeast, east, south, west, or northwest. Wow, I do not remember this area at all. Let's try going down. Ooh. The ground trembles as you approach, and a hideous moon beast crawls out of the cave. Your party, Ebenezabeth, 25 of 25. Enemy party, moon beast. Ebenezabeth should examine the moon beast because we might be in over our head. I don't remember. The moon beast towers over you on legs like iron pillars. Its scales are interspersed with barbed spines. The huge orbs of its eyes glow with a distant yellow light. We're going to flee. This does seem like it might be... Oh. Well, I'm going to try again. Forgot this is operating by JRPG rules where you can't always successfully flee. So, yeah. Ebenezabeth, we tried to flee. Ebenezabeth will be fleeing. The moon beast calls down the light of a gigantic red star. Ebenezabeth takes 13 damage. Ebenezabeth's defense decreases. Ebenezabeth falls to her knees. I thought I was... Her lips flutter with an inaudible apology as she crumbles to the ground. Ebenezabeth has fallen. You lose. Press any key to continue. So that's what losing a fight looks like. Okay. Observatory. The sky is blazing with millions of silent stars. The ground is bare rock, the color of charcoal. We're back where we were before. Let's examine... telescope? Okay, the receiver is mounted on dusty scaffolding some distance overhead. The other components must be up. Can we go up? Can we examine the receiver? It's all the same. Okay. Can we wake? Not yet. There's work to do. Right. Waking would take us presumably all the way back. I was hoping we could use that to get back to the original area, but because we're kind of far afield at this point, but nothing else but to keep exploring. So the east took us to the moon beast lair. Let's go southeast this time to overgrown field. Wild grass, taller in some places than you are, is slowly spreading across the surface of Deimos. A few crooked posts indicate the former borders of what used to be a well-maintained pasture. Grass is rustling near the center of the field. Okay. That is also probably a fight. We can go north, northeast, northwest. Right. Okay. I do remember this area after all. The reason why we can go so many places is because Deimos is a very small moon, and we can navigate its entire surface. So if we keep going east, we get to Abandoned House. A decrepit homestead stands near the south pole of the moon, its door hanging open. Nearby are the remains of a rusted-out pickup truck. Mars looms large in the northern sky. You can go north, northeast, northwest, east, west, and inside from here. Let's examine Mars. Mars is a waning crescent, so Deimos must be waxing gibbous, you think. On the night side of the planet are the lights of cities. The biggest one is Tharsis. Can we examine Tharsis? The Martian capital of Tharsis is so tiny you could blot it out with your thumb. You hope never again to see it in any greater detail, if you can help it. Can't remember if we've encountered Tharsis already in the other games we have played. It might have been the area that was such... If I'm remembering right, we visited that in one of the smaller games, one of the first couple games we played which was the area that was just swamped with advertisements and just constant rush of people. It was the counterpoint to the ancient marketplace, and we brought them some material from out of time that was extremely difficult to get a hold of and made a trade there. Let's see. If we go inside, empty room. From the marks on the floor, you can see where there used to be a table, chairs, a narrow bed. The only furniture that remains is a tall plastic cabinet. A laser saw lies abandoned in a corner. Look at this laser saw. A hand tool for very fine cutting, useless as a weapon. We take it. Let's examine the cabinet. Evidently it wasn't worth carting away. The cabinet is closed. We open it. You open the plastic cabinet, revealing a bag of powdered strawberries, a desiccated tofu, a jellied egg, and a compressed burrito. I think these are more healing items. Let's examine the strawberries. A pouch of strawberry dust. It restores 4 HP. Take that. The tofu. A brick of beige bean curd. It restores 8 HP. Take it. A jellied egg. A hard-boiled egg floating in a jar of egg-preserving gelatin. It restores 10 HP. Take that. And a compressed burrito. A complete beef and bean burrito, freeze-dried and reduced to a more portable size. It restores 12 HP. Take that. Okay. So now we have a huge collection of healing items, my phylactery, 4 spare phylacteries, and my revolver. Looking once more. Place is otherwise empty, so let's go. Let's examine the marks. You find that you can't really imagine what this place used to look like. Let's go out. Let's examine the pickup truck. It looks to be a Toyota Tacoma from 2005 or thereabouts. One wonders how it arrived on Mars, but I suppose the greater question is how did people get on Mars? So if people got there, presumably they could bring their trucks. Let's go east again. To the wrecked barn. Paint is peeling from the walls of this lopsided barn, and a big piece of the roof has fallen in. If we go in the wrecked barn, the cavernous barn seems to tremble with each step you take, and you wonder how close the whole thing is to falling down. A broken antenna lies on the floor beneath a large hole in the ceiling. Examine the antenna, a fairly small unit for civilian use. The reflector dish is off-center, and almost all the receivers are either bent or broken. Take it? We can. Okay. Well, we're collecting a variety of objects, not so much companions, but we'll keep looking around. Go back out. And we continue to the east. To the overgrown field. Okay, we're back in the overgrown field with rustling grass. If we examine it, something will jump out and fight us. So let's keep going east. So yeah, here you can see we are now on a regular cycle. Let's go to the northeast, back to the crater. Oh, you've reached the lip of a nameless crater, just deep enough to be dangerous, just wide enough to be inconvenient, but it's easy enough to walk around. The crest of Mars is visible in the western sky. The sun is right above you. You can go north, southeast, southwest, east, and west from here. Something is floating slowly through the western sky. A floating cow. We examine the cow. The cow is floating along at a steady pace, legs paddling gently at the air. It seems very comfortable under the circumstances. The cow is sinking toward the western horizon. So we go west. This is the monument. It's morning here, insofar as the sun is in the eastern sky. A statue of Mars Emperor Professor Albus Burnside stands here, where the planet itself hangs high above. You can go northeast, northwest, south, east, and west from here. Let's examine the statue. Burnside's left hand is pointed up toward Mars. Due to tidal locking, the planet is always directly overhead at this spot. A flux torque is floating above his outstretched right hand. The flying cow appears on the eastern horizon. We examine the flux torque. The flux torque, a close-fitting necklace of black metal, is only one example of the technologies that Professor Burnside used to terraform Mars. The cow is floating this way from the east, not very fast. Take the cow. You don't have anything handy to catch the cow with. The cow is floating almost overhead, a little to the east. You take the flux torque. You take it. We wear it. Ebenezabeth puts on the flux torque. Ebenezabeth gains the Gnoidal wave ability. We search Gnoidal wave. Let's see if we can pronounce.
Snoidal.
Snoidal. Okay.
Snoidal.
The Snoidal wave. So that is Snoidal waves right there. So, Ebenezabeth gains the Snoidal wave ability. We examine ourselves. Spend 6 HP to summon a wall of water that damages multiple enemies and lowers their skill. Which, if you'll recall, having a skill that is higher than your... If the combatant's skill is higher than the enemy's speed, they are more likely to hit it successfully. If the enemy's speed exceeds their skill, they will potentially miss. I think. Remembering that right. So, since I'm trying to remember if we know how to focus. I don't think we do. Yeah, we don't know how to focus. So that is not a useful ability under the circumstances. Let's go north. We can go northeast. Let's go northeast to the ranch house. There's a cozy little house here with a chimney and a vegetable garden under a sky full of stars. You can go south, southeast, southwest, east, west, and inside from here. So we go inside. Inside the ranch house, a rickety old life support unit sits next to a wood stove. Next to that is a couch that apparently serves as a bed, and next to that is a dining table that serves as a desk. This one room serves as kitchen, bedroom, and den. It doesn't leave much space to move around, but there's plenty of that outside. A stubby gentleman is hunched over the dining table, scratching at figures. Examine the gentleman. He doesn't seem like your classic mathematician. His boots and jeans are scuffed by moon rocks. Clipped to his belt are a photon pistol and an electrolariat. From the look on his face, you'd say he finds his current work not so much stimulating as demoralizing. Well, let us talk to the gentleman. Hello, sir. He looks up from his work. Heck, I didn't hear you come in, but it's awful nice to see a stranger for once. Name's Cole. May I ask yours, little miss? Ebenezabeth, you say, shaking hands. Well, make yourself at home, Ebenezabeth, but you gotta pardon me while I get some of these dag-blasted numbers to behave themselves. What's the matter? Heavy sigh. Poor Miranda managed to get loose, which would be bad enough, except while I was trying to coax her back home, she happened to wander by that consarned moon beast lair, which is considerably worse than bad enough. But the worst part of it is the part where the moon beast spooked her. She took off over a ridge and she launched herself into orbit. You've probably seen her up there, floating around the equator. Which we have. He shakes his head. No, that ain't the worst part. The real worst of it is that I am too dag-blame thick-headed to solve for X, where X is the heck-dang delta V it'll take to get that heifer down safe and sound. I wish I could help, sir. Well, I ain't too proud to say I wish you could, too. Well, we have these phylacteries. Let's give phylactery to Cole. Cole seems very busy at the moment. Put phylactery on Cole? Putting things on Cole would achieve nothing. Let's talk to Cole again. You ask Cole if he's made any progress recovering his heifer. Not exactly, but these numbers gotta add up eventually, right? It's their nature. Maybe the solution isn't mathematical, you suggest. That's what I was hoping from the first little miss. You can bet I only got out the old slide rule as an absolute last resort. Okay. Perhaps we'll come back to Cole. Let's go back out. Well, let's look first. Let's look at the life support unit. It handles moisture, oxygen, that sort of thing. You've never seen this model before, but it's not hard to see the check filter light is on. And the couch. The couch must be very dependable, otherwise it wouldn't be so old. The green upholstery has pilled up something fierce, but it looks like an excellent place to take a rest. And the table. A chip formica table, almost a century old. It's covered in mathematical notes. And the notes. There's some very technical material in here about orbits, escape velocities, and perturbations. Well, Cole, this was good talk. Go out. There's a cozy little house here with a chimney and a vegetable garden under a sky full of stars. Let's examine the house itself. The house is painted dull red to match the planet hanging in the sky across the way. And the chimney. A tiny ribbon of smoke issues from the chimney. Right, there's probably fire in there. We should go back in and look at it. And the garden. It's a cute little plot of carrots and lettuces, but it's all growing somewhat feebly. I probably should have been taking notes because I forgot how big this game is. So, we can delete all of my escape room notes from last time we played. Okay. So from our starting snowscape, southwest led to the jungle. Right, Hawaii. From Lily's hut. Here's Hawaii. Then the torches on Hawaii. Beach torches. That brought us to keep scrolling. Wessex. Okay. The Wessex ruin brought us to Deimos. And we are now going to take Deimos from Cole's place. See where this goes. Okay, here we go. Let's go back in the stove. Not to be outdone, the stove serves as both a cooking surface and heat source. There's a fire burning inside. So we examine the fire. You stare into the fire. It crackles softly. Still, there's work to do, Ebenezer. I know, you mutter sleepily. It ignores you. Still, there's work to do. You only doze off for a moment, but when you awaken, you are somewhere else. Finland, 1848. Okay. Henge. 5 white stones stand on a snowy field. In the northern sky... Oh, this is where we started. We started in Finland in 1848. That is... I'm updating. Okay, so we are finally back to where we were the first time around. So we started by going southwest. Let's go southeast to Wasteland. The light of the aurora barely reaches here. Further south is unnavigable darkness, but you can see a way to head north or northeast or northwest. 2 foxes are prowling through the shadows, eyeing you hungrily. I might be able to take the foxes, but I'm not going to try just yet. Let's go northeast to the church. Huge drifts have almost buried this tiny stone building, but its ornate steeple is visible even through the blowing snow, and the entrance is still unobstructed. The tundra remains navigable to the north, northwest, and southwest. Examine the church. You can only imagine the shape of the building under all that snow, but it's clearly very small indeed. If we go in to chamber, the wind whistles up and down the length of this narrow hallway. As you enter, violet flames crackle to life in iron sconces. The light flickers in the eye sockets of dozens of skulls sitting in niches in the walls. This is no church. This is a mausoleum. At the far end of the chamber, stone stairs descend into the earth. So we could definitely examine all these fires to go somewhere, but let's go down first to the crypt. The violet light carries just far enough to cast thick, bluish shadows across this room. The stairway is the only exit. A rough-hewn sarcophagus lies at the far end of the chamber. I don't think we want to... Well, I mean, there's no consequence if we do get into a fight. We can just always respawn when we die. A block of stone with a heavy stone lid bearing no inscription. The sarcophagus is closed. We try to open it. You position yourself at the side of the sarcophagus, trying to find some leverage. You push with all your might, but you can't open it by yourselves. So, we can come back here once we've got a follower. Let's go back up and examine the fire. So, Finland. Mausoleum. The purple flames awaken under your gaze. They leap from their sconces and encircle you. They quiver in excitement, coming closer and closer. You're getting hotter and hotter. But where are you? You're back in Wessex, 877. Okay. We are once again at the riverside area we start in. We went northeast last time, correct? Yes, here's the burned ruin. This time let's go southeast to the ominous building. Hubbub and occasional moans emanate from this thatched roof house. A man is sitting on the ground outside the door. Bandages cover most of his face. The path curls northwest and northeast. Examine the man. A skinny man in a singed tunic. We talk to the man. The man can't see you, but he perks up as he hears you approach. Who's there, friend or foe? Me, sir, you say. My name is Ebenezabeth. Oh, you're a stranger, then. Are you here to ransack us? Not much left to be ransacked. No, sir, I would never want to ransack anybody. Well, then I'm very grateful to you, Ebenezabeth. He smiles, but it's hard to say how sincerely with the bandages over his eyes. I hope you'll feel very welcome in what remains of our doomed village. Thank you, sir. Let's talk to him again. Is that you, little girl, Ebenezabeth? Yes, sir. How are you doing? Can't complain. And if I could complain, believe me, I'd be complaining. Okay. So, let's examine the house. Oh, can't see the house. Examine the building. The cottage has a bit of a slump to it. The ground here is marshy. Let's go in. Infirmary. There aren't enough beds. The wounded are lying on the table, slumped against the walls, curled up on the floor. The one able-bodied person is rushing back and forth across the cottage, tending to whom she can, stepping over those whom she can't. When she notices a new arrival, the doctor glares at you impatiently. I can't take any more patients right now. If you need a rest, you can have a seat, and then you leave. She kicks a stool. Examine the doctor. The doctor wears a stained brown dress and no shoes. Her hair is matted. Her eyes betray several sleepless nights, but she can't rest. See if we can talk to the doctor. You try to get her attention while staying out of her way. What happened here? The great heathen army happened. Men from the north with axes and torches and huge dirty beards. They came here chasing that coward King Alfred. If he had just stayed out of Somerset, right now I'd be... She stares at a wall and shakes her head. I'd be washing my hair or something. Where is this great heathen army now? Oh, you want to go chop them up? That'd be very helpful of you. The troop that's harassing us has a camp out in the woods. When you get to the end of the trail, you want to go. She points one way, then the other, then she gives up her sense of direction. You want to head for the birch trees. That's where you'll find them. Interesting. Birch trees. Make a note of that. Alright, birch trees to find the heathen army. Examine the wounded, which is a word I can type. About a dozen villagers are here. The doctor has done the best she can with each of them. Still, some are in better shape than others. Let's go back out. That's going to be a grim place to hang out. And go to the northeast. To the Longhouse. A somewhat larger building sits within a spiked fence near the center of the village, but it seems very much abandoned. Paths lead northeast, southeast, and southwest. Have you saved? Sure, let's go ahead and save again. Once more to March. Yes, we're going to overwrite that. Okie dokie. Path leads northeast, southeast, and southwest. We just came from the southwest. Let's examine the building. Someone important must live here, or used to. Let's go in. Chief's Hall. A low table runs the length of the hall. At the far end is a more exalted table where a chief might sit, but there's no chief here. A crow is chained to the high table. Hey, the crow. Examine the crow. You look down at the crow, and he looks up at you. Hey, lady, do you have a set of jeweler's tools? Or a set of tinker's tools? Or a set of thieves' tools, maybe? I'm afraid not, you tell him. He shrugs. Yeah, I figured it was a long shot. It's not a big deal. Who's keeping you here? Well, the chief, Wolfbad, is the one who had me chained up. But he got his head chopped off, so all that's keeping me here is the chain itself, I guess. People have been really busy with the Great Heathen Army, though, so I totally understand. I will do my best to free you, sir. My name is Ebenezabeth. Do you have a name? Yeah, actually, Freeman. It's nice to meet you, but you shouldn't go out of your way. You give him a smile and a little pet. It's my pleasure, Freeman. Fortunately, we do have the... Where'd it go? Laser saw. Cut chain with laser saw. You activate the laser saw. Freeman shudders. Are you sure about this? He says. I promise to be very careful, you tell him, but you must hold still. He holds as still as he can, and you bring the laser blade across one of the links near the middle of the chain, slicing it like butter. Freeman squawks in disbelief. Just a second, you say. If you're very, very still... You take the blade up to the shackle around Freeman's ankle. With incredible delicacy, you carve through the metal and leave his foot intact. He shakes his leg a bit to make sure he's there, and then he starts hopping around gleefully. Thank you very much, young lady. Would you mind turning that off, though? Oh, you deactivate the laser saw. Sorry. But then he stops hopping and he sighs. Well, I'm happy to be free, but I guess I don't really have anywhere to be. You can come along with me if you like, you say, taking the hint, but you'll have to wear one of these, and you place a silver phylactery around his tiny neck. Freeman joins your party. Let's examine him. Freeman, Crow, level 1. Affinity, Death. Hit points 21 of 21, attack 8, defense of 4, magic 3, resistance 5, speed of 12, and skill of 14. So, based on this, he seems to be a decent attacker, though not as good as Ebenezabeth. Not quite as sturdy as she is, obviously. And he is no magic user. But he is fast and evasive. Peck, attack an enemy with your beak. Defend, brace yourself for an attack. Vex, spend 2 hit points to distract and disorient an enemy with flapping and cawing. Freeman the Crow has taken to perching on your shoulder, as long as it's not inconvenient for you. See if we can talk to him now. Freeman, how are you doing? I think I'm doing okay, as long as I'm not being a liability. Certainly not, you tell him. Okay. So now, if we go out, let's check out the Exalted table. Nope. the low table or the high table? Examine the high table. An iron spike has been hammered into the high table. Examine the low table. The stains all over this table are the witnesses of many great feasts. Now we can go out. So we went from the southwest. We can go northeast and southeast. Let's start southeast. Southeast takes us to the henge. 5 white stones stand in a circle on a grassy hill. A path leads northwest to the village. This is some kind of pagan thing, Freeman explains, from way before the village was here. Which... Wessex is 877. Because it seems as though we've seen this area before. So this is something it's like there are henges that correspond in multiple areas. And I want to see if I can draw that correspondence. Okay. Path leads northwest to the village. Let's go to the village. Longhouse. Oh, yeah, it's where we just were. Right. We go northeast from here to ruined tower. The watchtower has been toppled, strewing the area with stones and mortar. 4 paths converge here, west and southwest into the village, east into the woods, and southeast through some thick bushes. As you make your way around the ruin, a huge wolf appears. We might take on the huge wolf now that we have Freeman with us. Let's examine the wolf. The wolf is keeping a close murderous eye on you, but he's leaving you alone for the moment. We can examine the tower. The portion of the tower that's still standing isn't much taller than you are. Okay, well, let's go ahead and try our luck. We attack the wolf. You rush into battle. Here we have Ebenezabeth and Freeman against the Grey Wolf. What should Freeman do? We are going to... So our party consists of Ebenezabeth and Freeman, both at full health. The enemy party is a Grey Wolf. Freeman should peck. Pecking the Grey Wolf. Freeman will be attacking the Grey Wolf. What should Ebenezabeth do? Should attack the wolf. Ebenezabeth will be attacking the Grey Wolf. The wolf chomps down on Freeman. Freeman takes 6 damage. Freeman squawks in pain. Can't you pick on someone else? He groans. Freeman dives at the Grey Wolf and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 2 damage. Ebenezabeth fires off a shot at the Grey Wolf and misses. She bites her lip. Okay, so Freeman has taken some damage. The wolf is barely injured. We're going to go ahead and continue pecking the wolf with Freeman. We're going to try the Snoidal Wave with Ebenezabeth. This is all enemies, so there's no target here. Okay. The wolf digs his claws into Ebenezabeth. Ebenezabeth takes 5 damage. Freeman swoops down on the Grey Wolf and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 2 damage. Ebenezabeth gestures broadly, and a sea-green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. The Grey Wolf takes 2 damage. Oh, I have... Sounds like we have someone here. I might need to pause here. And peck. Let's go ahead and shoot wolf. Wow, the wolf tears into Freeman with his fangs. Freeman takes 6 damage. Freeman dives into the Grey Wolf and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 2. The animal shakes off the blow with a gratified grunt. Ebenezabeth fires off a shot at the Grey Wolf and misses. She sighs quietly. So this wolf might be too much for us. Let's see if we can Vex Wolf. And we're going to go ahead and try shooting again. The wolf digs its claw into Riemann. Riemann takes 6 damage. Riemann descends upon the grey wolf, flapping and cawing, flapping and squawking wildly. The grey wolf doesn't flinch. Ebenezer fires at the grey wolf and deals 4 damage. The beast's eyes roll back in his head and he howls. Okay, that's good. Attack wolf, shoot wolf. The grey wolf utters an eerie howl. The grey wolf's attack increases. Riemann tears into the grey wolf with incredible force, dealing 4 damage. Whoa, he caws. What happened? He got a critical hit, is what happened. Ebenezer takes a shot at the grey wolf and deals 4 damage. The wolf falls to the ground, whimpering. You notice something sparkling, and you crouch down to see. A mirror shard lodged in the creature's paw. You carefully pull it out. The wolf gets back on his feet. Thank you, little girl. The pain of that splinter drove me to do some truly awful things. Things I can never take back. But I will put that behind me. I will return to my pack. He sniffs the air. If they'll have me, may fate favor your cause, little girl. And then he's off. You won. Okay, so we can use our shard on someone to bestow upon them a level. I think the obvious thing to do is to bestow the shard upon Ebenezabeth, as she is sturdier and therefore is likely to be around longer. We get the most gain from having her gain a level. So we use shard on Ebenezabeth. Okay, you insert the mirror shard into your silver phylactery. You level up. Max HP +1, defense +1, speed +1. That's not bad at all. Ebenezabeth learned the flare ability. Spend 2 HP to cast a fire spell on an enemy. So flare is something we should use now. If we get to the point where we're going to be taking on a group, we might want to take the water drink to excuse me, to have a better chance of being more effective with our Snoidal Wave. But we kind of need to rest. So, where were we? If we go southwest and southwest and in, we can rest. You try your best to get comfortable. Ebenezabeth's HP is restored. Riemann's HP is restored. And back out. Okay. Go northwest from here. Back to the riverside. And back to the northeast, to the burned ruin. And to the east. Okay, that brings us back to the ruined tower. Okay, so we've been to the west and southwest. East goes into the woods and southeast goes through some thick bushes. Let's go southeast. To a stilt house. The path from the northwest descends into a muddy pit, shaded by a huge black tree. A dwelling stands on crude stilts above the muck. The only way in is to climb an untrustworthy-looking ladder. Riemann whispers to you, I think the gal who lives here is supposed to be a witch. Just so you know. Which has been a theme for a couple of people we've met now, I think. Let's check her out and go in. You carefully ascend the ladder and enter. Apothecary. The smell of burnt hair fills this room, where everything is tilted slightly to one side. On the shelves are earthen jars, glass bottles, and hollow gourds, all propped up against rocks or sticks so they don't tip over. Ebenezabeth Scrooge. A face appears from around a corner. Coarse black hair and deep dark eyes. Right on time. The wind apprised me of your coming. I am Ealwyn, and you have arrived at my laboratory. It's a pleasure to meet you, Ealwyn. Do you know what I meant to do here? Well, no, I was not apprised of that. But this is where I conduct my apothecary business, so it stands to reason that you have come here to do business with me. You nod politely, and she cannily decides to back off a little. Have a look around. I'll be right here if you have any questions. That's the witch, Riemann whispers. Let's examine Ealwyn. Ealwyn appears to be about your age, or a little younger. Although she's trying to give you some breathing room in her little shop, she can't seem to stop staring at you, and her makeup makes her eyes look huge. Her hair does not look burnt. Okay. Let's examine these jars. There are innumerable concoctions lining these shelves, but it's not hard for you to pick out which ones could be useful. On the shelves are a healthy drink, a mighty drink, a Sildindy drink, a Drylick drink, a Wislick drink, a Craftig drink, and an Offast drink. I'm guessing that's Old English or Old Finnish or something. I don't know. But these are stat drinks, it looks like. Healthig. The Healthig drink looks like plain old water in a plain old glass bottle. It permanently increases the drinker's max HP by 5. Mittig drink is an oily looking potion in a clay jar. It permanently increases the drinker's attack by 3. The Sildindy drink is a silvery liquid. Oh my goodness, John, you need to settle down here, buddy. Is a silvery liquid in a crudely sculpted cup. It permanently increases the drinker's defense. Oh, shielding drink. Okay. Let's move this to the other screen since John insists on sitting somewhere. It didn't. Yeah, okay. Let's examine the Drylick drink. The Drylick drink is a dark viscous fluid with little white things floating in it. It permanently increases the drinker's magic by 3. The Wislick drink. The Wislick drink is a brownish red potion. A tiny wisp of steam hovers over the surface. It permanently increases the drinker's resistance by 3. The Craftig drink is a blue-tinged liquid in a clay goblet. It permanently increases the drinker's skill by 3. And the Ophost drink is a yellow substance in an orange gourd. It permanently increases the drinker's speed by 3. Let's talk to her again. Anything I can help you with? I don't know if this is something I'm supposed to ask you, say, but what exactly do you put in these potions? Yellowin gives you a sly smile. That's a trade secret, but it's nothing that's going to kill you. I wonder... I'm guessing, if I'm remembering right, she wants mirror shards for the drinks? Yes, okay. You pick up the mighty drink. That'll be 1 mirror shard, says Ilowin. Will you pay 1 mirror shard for the mighty drink? No, thank you. Maybe some other time, you tell her. And she says, sure. So here we can forego the benefits of a level up for specific statistical benefit, which is going to be especially useful once we have gotten everybody to level 5. So this is someplace we will definitely come back to. John's gotten out of the way, so I'm going to go back to my main screen. And this is something, yeah, we can return to. Let's look around once more. Is there everything? There's a smell of burnt hair, but there's no actual fire here. Yeah, no fire in this room. Okay. Well, we'll come back. Let's go back outside. And we go back to the northwest. I am speeding my way back to the... yeah, I obviously can't remember where everything is located in this area, but we wanted to get back to the burned ruin to examine this fire. So, we stare into the corner, the tiny tongue of flame. That takes us back to Deimos. Okay, so we're back to Deimos 2049 at the observatory. We get the same description, but we also get text stating that Freeman Flies up for a better view, wheeling around for a while before returning to your shoulder. It's curved, he says. I mean, it's round. I mean, of course it's round, but I've never seen the curvature of anything before. The cow is floating almost overhead, a little to the east. Can we catch cow with Riemann? You can't do much more than look from way down here. The flying cow passes right over your head. Okay. So, I'm not doing it that way. Yeah, I don't remember if I don't think we already have the tool to retrieve the cow, but let's keep looking around. We haven't really explored Deimos that thoroughly yet. We are going to go to the southeast to the overgrown field. And oh, is this as far south as we can go? Let's examine the grass. The grass is tall enough to hide in, tall enough to get lost in. We search the grass. Oh, it's a herd of feral cattle? I don't know that we can take on a herd of feral cattle. A herd of feral cattle leaps out and attacks. Yeah, we've got a feral bull, a feral cow, and a feral steer. We're going to go ahead and flee. Ebenezer will fleeing. Riemann tries to run away but can't. The feral bull charges into Ebenezer. Ebenezer takes 8 damage. The feral cow charges into Ebenezer. Ebenezer takes 8 damage. Ebenezer falls to her knees. Not again. Her lips flutter with an inaudible apology as she crumples to the ground. Ebenezer has fainted. We're going to try fleeing once more. And Riemann tries to run away and does. Okay, so let's go north and northeast. And east and in. We curl up on the couch to recover Ebenezer's health. Okay. Let's talk to Cole once more. Can we give him the antenna? I'm as helpless as it gets when it comes to these. You're better off finding someone else to take a look at it. Okay. So he doesn't want the antenna. Let's go back to the fire then. Which takes us back to Finland. So we've looked in the southwest and the southeast. Finland is 1848. Okay. Let's go to the northeast now. To the lake's edge. Snow covers the frozen surface of the lake to the northeast, and it's hard to say where exactly the shoreline is. There's surer footing to the south, southwest, and northwest. Something is padding toward you out of the darkness. A polar bear. Okay, we're not going to the northeast yet. We're going back to the southwest. And to the northwest, woods. To the northwest is a dark forest. The aurora's unsteady light can't penetrate the trees. Open tundra lies to the northeast, southeast, and south. It takes you a moment to realize that the lumpy shape standing near the edge of the woods is a troll. So, okay, we've got enemy encounters to the northeast and northwest. Let's go south to the hut and go in and talk to Lily again. Is there anything I can help you with, you ask? No, says Lily. I am quite comfortable, and I resent outside assistance very passionately. Cool. Okay. Let's examine her fire once more to go back to Honolulu in 1933. Okay. It's dark out, getting darker. Okay, let's go back to the east, and to the south, and to the south, and to the south. This is where we were exploring when we got transported away by inadvertently looking at torches before I was ready to. Let's go to the west end of the beach now. Beach. Waikiki Beach comes to an end at a concrete breakwater. The waves seem quieter here. Someone is sitting at the water's edge, contemplating the ocean, a dark-haired mermaid. We examine the mermaid. You call out to her. Eunoia? She turns, and a pensive expression turns to joyous recognition. Ebenezabeth, my darling sister, I haven't seen you since... Oh, I have no idea. Come, let me embrace you. You politely take a seat next to her, and Eunoia squeezes you tenderly, kissing your forehead and stroking your flaxen curls. You have been very naughty not visiting Atlantis for so long, but Father has told us all about your adventures, she says. Are you adventuring tonight? Is this one of your missions? I'm afraid it is. She pouts. I have so often fantasized that we would meet like this someday, that I would join your cause and lend you aid. But life is so unfair. I can't lend you any sort of aid if all your missions are on dry land. She slaps her tail petulantly against the wet sand. I'm sorry, you tell her. She grasps your shoulders. Ebenezabeth, you must find some magic that will give me legs like yours. A potion or a spell? A curse, even. I don't care how. You must let me join you. I promise I will be an indispensable asset to your mission, she says. I'll see what I can do, you say, wriggling out of her grip. Maybe that witch in Wessex can help. So, from Hawaii, we just need to step to the east and examine the torch. You glance at the torches, and their flames flutter and surge in response. Okay, we are once again in Wessex, at the riverside. We can go northeast and east, and southeast in. Here is Eowyn's home again. We talk to her. I do have a question, actually. Do you have any potions that give you legs? Eowyn blinks. You already have legs. It's for a friend of mine. Oh, of course. Sorry. Hold on. She ducks behind a counter and starts rummaging through a warped wooden box. It was somewhere... Here we go. She hands you a small gourd. No charge, she says. You're doing me a favor, taking it off my hands. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. So now we can go back out and go back to the northwest and the west and the... Examine the corner. Back to Deimos. And then... Can we see the stars? No. We keep going east. Back to the henge. 5 tall white stones project from the black rock, forming a vague circle around you. You can go north, southeast, southwest, east, and west from here. Freeman gawks at the stones. But he can't figure out what to say. Yeah, fair point. This is a henge on the moon of Mars when it matches the location we've seen elsewhere in several other places on Earth. And then here's the monument. Go northeast to the ranch house and in. Can we show the... We have a Scansina drink. The bubbling green liquid in a tiny green gourd. It's supposed to give the drinkers legs. We'll show it to Cole. It's of no concern to Cole. We'll examine Cole's fire. Back to Finland. To the southwest. In. Examine the fire. And here we are in Honolulu. Back to the east, to the south, to the south, to the south, to the west. Eunoia, I have good news. Eunoia puts her hands on her hips. Have you figured out how to give me legs yet? I'm working on it, you assure her, knowing full well that you already have the potion she needs. Give drink to Eunoia. Princess Eunoia almost licks her lips when she sees the potion. What could that be? She asks, although she obviously has an idea. I have been assured that this will exchange your fishtail for human legs, you tell her. Are you sure you want to try it? Of course I'm sure. She plucks the gourd out of your hand and quaffs it in a gulp. There is a flash of light, and then you turn decorously away. Eunoia giggles. Don't worry, sister. I managed to scrounge up some clothes while I was waiting for you. And I found this. When you turn back to face her, she's wearing a floral pink dress, and there's a trident in her hands. Now then, shall we get going? Just one more thing, you say. You put a silver phylactery around her neck. Eunoia joins your party. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's examine Eunoia. Daughter of Poseidon, level 1. Her affinity is water. Hit points 15. Attack is 5, defense is 3, magic is 10, resistance is 7, speed is 9, and skill is 8. Her abilities include stab, jab your trident at an enemy, defend to brace yourself for an attack, and to heal, spend 3 hit points to restore 10 hit points to an ally. Princess Eunoia's Hawaiian dress might have been chosen specifically to show off her new legs. The trident she's wielding is not her father's, but it looks to be very dangerous nonetheless. However, with an attack of 5, I think Eunoia is clearly intended to be our magician. So, with her being water, I know who needs the Snoidle Wave. I am going to remove Flux Torque. Ebenezer takes off the Flux Torque, losing the Snoidle Wave ability. And put Flux Torque on Eunoia. Eunoia gains the Snoidle Wave ability. So, that's fantastic. Let's look. Okay, we have a group now. I feel a little more confident taking on the locals. So let us go north. Here we are on the lawn again. When I heard the names Royal Hawaiian and Monarch Room, I thought this place would have something to do with bona fide royalty, such as myself, says Eunoia. I quickly learned this was not the case. Let's go into the Monarch Room now. Monarch Room. The lights dim as you enter, and a spotlight appears on the stage. And now, for the 5th time tonight, the Monarch Room is proud to welcome Havana Nightingale herself, held over by exclusive arrangement with the Hunley Syndicate. One hand clapping against the other makes a very nice sound for Trix Fabrero. A smattering of applause. There's hardly anyone in here. The curtain parts and Trix herself appears, her black dress glittering like the ocean under the moon.
There were stars in my eyes once upon a time, but time isn't kind to anyone. Are you still the fool who I used to know? Am I still the fool who thought I knew? Memory plays tricks in the dark. I close my eyes and see you as you really are. The love we used to share is no more than a spark, but it only takes a spark to melt my heart.
More mild applause. Trix bows and disappears backstage. The loudspeaker starts up again. Thank you, Royal Hawaiian patrons. Trix Fabrero will return to the Monarch Room stage in 30 minutes. 20 minutes, someone calls out, a fellow in a black suit and fedora, with his feet up on the table. That's right. Trix will return to the stage in 20 minutes, the loudspeaker says. The Royal Hawaiian apologizes for our confusion. Let's examine this fellow. Oh, there are a lot of people in here, actually. So, in addition to Freeman and Yonoya, who came with us, we have Richter Hunley, Barney Hunley, Suzanne Hunley, and Mario Hunley. I think maybe we don't take on the group of all four of them. Let's go back out to the east, because I think we want to brush up on our abilities a little before we take on the biggest crowd. Let's go back to the north and to the north. Okay, so this time around, Ebenezabeth, Eunoia is having an idea. We should get a room at the hotel. We can order room service and have a pillow fight. All the things that landwalkers do in hotel rooms. You gently remind her of your urgent mission. Something for the future, Ebenezabeth. Don't count yourself out just too yet. We go to the east, to the Coconut Lanai. So here we have a tall woman and two shorter men, all wearing dark suits and fedoras. I would like to try and take these three on now that we've got three of our own people. Examine the woman, the leader of the crew. Okay, so she's probably most dangerous, but she may also be the toughest. So let's look at the tall man, dark glasses and a pasty mustache, short man, a mean-looking baseball bat. I want to focus on him, so we're going to attack short man. You rush into battle. So our party consists of Ebenezabeth with 26 health, Eunoia with 15, Freeman with 21, against Catherine, Scooch, and Algernon. Goose, I wish you wouldn't sit on top of the computer. That is the exhaust vent, and we want that to remain clear and not be clogged with cat fur. Let's take you down. Boop. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Freeman should attack short man, who is Algernon. Ebenezabeth should flare on Algernon. Oh, I have not reloaded. Well, sounds like we're going to be doing the reloading it in battle, most likely. But we're going to go ahead and continue with our spells on our first round. Snoidle Wave from Eunoia. Okay. We've entered our commands for the first round of combat. Freeman swoops down on Algernon Hunley and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 3 damage. Algernon's eyes bug out at Freeman and his lips start twitching. Ebenezabeth summons a gout of flame and launches it at Algernon Hunley. Algernon Hunley takes 9 damage. Algernon belches up a mirror shard. He wobbles a little. He tries to steady himself on his bat. The next time you see me coming, you better run, he grumbles. Then he runs away. Eunoia gestures broadly, and a sea-green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. Catherine Hunley takes 8 damage. Catherine Hunley's skill decreases. Scooch Hunley takes 10 damage. Scooch Hunley's skill decreases. Scooch spits out a mirror shard. Sorry, boss, he wails as he flees into the darkness. Catherine Hunley sneers at Freeman. He shrugs it off. So, that was a very effective first round. Let's go ahead and see if we can take out Catherine. Freeman should peck Catherine. Freeman should... Well, we're just going to attack Catherine and attack Catherine. Eunoia will be attacking Catherine Hunley. Freeman dives at Catherine Hunley and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 3 damage. Ebenezabeth fires at Catherine Hunley and deals 5 damage. Eunoia stabs Catherine Hunley with her trident, but deals no damage. Catherine takes a shot at Eunoia. Eunoia takes 5 damage. Eunoia stares at Catherine Hunley in utter disbelief. Okay, so she is not taking nearly enough damage for the amount of damage we need to do. I'm thinking we want to go ahead and continue using magic. So let's go ahead and try and vex Catherine with Freeman. We are going to flare with Elizabeth. Catherine. Eunoia, however, does not have 6 health to cast Snoidal Wave, so she is going to stab Catherine. Freeman descends upon Catherine Hunley, cawing and flapping and squawking wildly. Catherine Hunley is thoroughly distracted by the interruption. Elizabeth summons a gout of flame and launches it at Catherine Hunley. Catherine Hunley takes 8 damage. Catherine coughs up a mirror shard and winces. "You got lucky," she grumbles, and then she runs away. You win. You notice a slip of paper on the floor. Maybe Catherine dropped it. Let's examine the slip. Someone has written, or angrily scrawled, "Tungad" on this scrap of paper. Okay, we're going to take it. We have 3. We have 3 shards. Yes, we have 3 shards now. Okay, so that's a level for everyone, I think. Let's use shard on Freeman. You insert the mirror shard into Freeman's phylactery. Freeman levels up. Max hit points increased by 1. Attack increased by 1. Defense increased by 1. Resistance increased by 1. Speed increased by 1. And skill increased by 1. Hey now! He flutters his wings excitedly. I might amount to something after all. Freeman learned the Chill ability. Spend 2 HP to cast a painful ice spell upon an enemy. Let's use shard on Eunoia. You insert the mirror shard into Eunoia's phylactery. Eunoia levels up. Magic +1, skill +1. Her lip quivers. There must be some mistake. Eunoia learned the Vortex ability. Spend 2 HP to cast a turbulent water spell on an enemy. So, now we have a spell for her on single targets. Okay. Freeman is awkwardly death affinity, so chill isn't of tremendous. I mean, it's still good to have, but it's not what we really wanted. Let's look around now that we have cleared out this area. Okay, sounds like we need to go further east, but before we do, I'm going to go back to the lobby to rest. Flop onto the couch and close your eyes. Everyone's HP is restored. Back to the east. So, to the east is the Coconut Grove, another manicured lawn. This one has a fire pit in the middle, where a young man in a very strange costume is roasting a pig on a spit. Did you scare off those thugs? He asks. You nod silently. Thanks, he says, and he continues turning his spit. You notice Freeman salivating over the roast pig. Then he notices you looking, and he looks away guiltily. Let's look at the man. This hotel employee's uniform consists of flared pants, pointed boots, and a high-collared shirt that looks like it's made out of wallpaper. There's an awkward pause. I'm Jeff, by the way, he says. I'm Elizabeth. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let's talk to Jeff. You can't help asking, what's that outfit you're wearing? It's Cathayan garb, he explains. Are we in Cathay? He shrugs. I don't think so. Okay. Oh, fire pit, of course, because fire, right. Let's look at the pig first, though. The pig's eye sockets seem to wink at you. Its crispy lips seem to say, Eat me, Elizabeth. I think Elizabeth is a vegetarian, though, isn't she? But the pig can still say that, even if she's going to refrain. Let's look at the fire. You stare into the fire pit, and the flames leap up around the pig. They engulf the pig. They engulf you. Making notes, in 1933, Hawaii fire pit. This takes us to Deimos 2049. Okay. So here, how exciting, Eunoia says. What an adventuresome place this is. Let us go. I wonder if the slip of paper makes sense to Cole. We go to the pasture. A scraggly barbed wire fence surrounds a smooth, spacious field of green grass where maybe 30 head of cattle are variously grazing, chewing, and napping. Outside the fence, it's just rocks. Okay. We examine the cattle. They might be slightly smaller than Earth cattle, but other than that, they look very normal. These might be nature's most normal animals. If we go east to the barn. Now, this is not adventuresome in the least, Eunoia says. Rather pedestrian, really. When do we get to storm a castle? Well, Eunoia, all in due time. Let's go into the ranch house. Cole, you're still at it. Yep, same conundrum that he's dealing with. Let's show the slip of paper to Cole. Slip of paper is of no concern to Cole. Tungad is not a verb. Okay. Let's examine this fire. And we're back in Finland again. Eunoia shrieks, "Cold! Too cold! Why would you bring us here, Ebenezer? Why? What could possibly be so important?" And so on. But eventually she calms down. We go to the southwest. And to the southeast. Here's these foxes. We're going to fight these foxes. Rush into battle. Okay. We have an Arctic fox and an Arctic vixen. The male fox is distinguishable from his mate only by a tuft of black fur on his left ear. We examine the vixen. The female is perfectly white. Her eyes are like blue diamonds. Do you think one of these is more dangerous than the other? I kind of think we need to take Herman to drink the... I wonder if we can change his affinity to ice. That would have been sensible. Let's try that. Okay, yeah, we successfully fled. Let's go back to the northwest. Oh, we're already there. We're at the hut. Let's go in. Let's rest. And examine the fire. How lovely, Eunoia says upon our return to Honolulu, gazing up at the hotel. It's very much like the Palace of Atlantis, except it's pink. We go east and south and south. East. No, south. Then east. Here we are. We're back at the bar. Examine the bar. Let's see if we can have Freeman drink the Challenger drink. Ebenezer can't use the Challenger Deep because it's not in your inventory. We'll take the Challenger Deep. The Challenger Deep is water. Actually, we need to take the Kuniksuk. We just use it on. Ebenezer gives the Kuniksuk to Freeman. Freeman drinks the Kuniksuk. It's so cold, so satisfying. Freeman's affinity changes to ice. So now his chill spell will be more effective, and he'll take less damage from the enemies in Finland. So, let's go back to the west and to the north. Let's go ahead and see if we can take on the group of thugs here in the Monarch Room. I don't think we can go north. Yeah, as you make your way over to the stage, the gangsters quietly surround you. Can't no one go backstage, one says. On account of Trix needs to prepare for her performance, another explains. Are you mistreating Miss Fabrero? You ask. The biggest gangster chuckles. Are you going to do something about it? If I have to, you say. our party consists of these 3 versus these 4. Richter, Barney, Suzanne, and Mario. Let's examine Richter. Richter appears to be the leader of this crew. He's very tall and skinny, and he has brass knuckles. We examine Barney. Barney Hunley carries a revolver. He doesn't look very confident about it, though. He seems like the revolver is dangerous, but he's likely to miss. Let's examine Suzanne. The one lady gangster is licking her lips. She's itching for a fight. No mention of a weapon, though. And the 4th figure is Mario. Mario is the youngest member of the crew. He's carrying a bag of coconut macaroons? Okay. Is he the healer in this context? We should take him out first? Let's try that. We're going to chill Mario. We're going to flare Mario. And we're going to Snoidle Wave the group. Okay, Unoi will be casting Snoidle Wave. Freeman conjures a ribbon of elemental ice and fires it at Mario Hunley. Mario Hunley takes 1 damage. If I'm remembering right, he might have magic that's too low to make this of any benefit. We might need to keep attacking with Freeman. Richter Hunley psychs himself up. Richter Hunley's skill increases. Ebenezabeth summons a gout of flame and launches it at Mario Hunley. Mario Hunley takes 6 damage. Mario falls down. He spits out a mirror shard and begins crawling away. Eunoia gestures broadly, and a sea-green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. Richter Hunley takes 11 damage. Richter Hunley's skill decreases. Barney Hunley takes 9 damage. Suzanne Hunley takes 9 damage. Okay. Suzanne fires at Ebenezabeth and misses. Barney fires at Ebenezabeth. Ebenezabeth takes 1 damage. Ebenezabeth stumbles, but then she stands up straight and sets her jaw. So, Ebenezabeth is at 23 of 26, Unoi is at 9 of 15, and Freeman is at 20 of 22. So, of these 3 now, Richter and Suzanne seem the most dangerous. Oh, yeah. Hi, John. I know. Let's see if this will satisfy your interest in treats. See this, buddy? Come on. Oh, you moved too slow. Orange juice found it. Okay, yep. All right, resuming. Freeman, we can vex, though. Let's try vexing. Let's vex Suzanne. I forgot to reload again. But let's go ahead and shoot Richter and Snoidle Wave. Freeman descends upon Suzanne Hunley, calling and flapping and squawking wildly. Suzanne Hunley is thoroughly distracted by the interruption. Richter pummels Freeman hard, dealing 8 damage. Ebenezabeth lands a hit on Richter Hunley and deals 3 damage. Eunoia gestures broadly and a sea-green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. Richter Hunley takes 11 damage. Barney Hunley takes 9 damage. Suzanne Hunley takes 9 damage. Suzanne Hunley's skill decreases. Richter coughs up a mirror shard, whimpers, and runs away. A mirror shard falls out of Barney's ear as he scrambles for the door. Suzanne wipes something from her eye. A mirror shard. Then she runs away. You win. Someone pokes her head out from behind the curtain and then disappears. We take the shards. Let's go ahead and just give one to everybody. Keep everybody leveling up. I know we could be saving some for another couple of party members, but it's fine. They'll get their turn. Use shard on Ebenezabeth. We get increased hit points, attack, resistance, and skill. Just hope it's enough. And she's learned the Revive ability. Spend 5 HP to restore 8 health to a fallen ally. That's cool. Use shard on Eunoia. Unoya levels up, gets max HP +1, magic +1, resistance +1, speed +1, skill +1. Excellent! She stands up straight, pushes out her chest. We'll have this taken care of in no time. Unoya learned the Sing ability. Spend 3 HP to sing a magical song that can put multiple enemies to sleep. Very useful. Use Shard on Freeman. You insert the Mirror Shard into Freeman's phylactery. Freeman levels up. Resistance +1, speed +1, skill +1. He shrugs. Works for me. Freeman learned the Shriek ability. Spend 6 HP to scream, possibly disorienting multiple enemies. That's a lot of health, though. Let's look. The lights are low. All the tables are empty. Let's go north. To the backstage. It's very narrow and dingy and empty back here. No ropes or sandbags or catwalks. It should be much more glamorous than this, Unoya hisses. This is basically a hallway. A folding screen sets aside a dressing room where Trix Fabrero lies on an old couch. The Monarch room is south. We examine Trix Fabrero. Just like the poster, a gorgeous woman with jet black hair and jet black lipstick in a jet black dress. She's draped over her couch like a rag doll. We'll talk to her. Trix. Miss Fabrero? Hey, little girl. She doesn't turn her head. Pardon me for not rising, as the dead baker says. I am worn all the way out. You took pretty good care of those miscreants. Thanks a bundle. Thank you, miss. I'll let you rest now. But she jolts up. Wait! There's something I want to tell you. I heard something useful. Trix screws her eyes shut. The one guy. He said that Catherine is in charge of the password to the boss's office. And he said that Catherine always writes the password down backwards. That's their little code. You nod. Thank you, miss. And one more thing. Take this. She raises a hand to her perfect neck and unclasps a diamond necklace. You'll probably get more out of it than me. I never was able to use it properly. The necklace glitters with 1,000 colors. It feels oddly heavy in your hands. Thank you, miss, you say, and Trix Fabrero responds with a sleepy half-moan. Look at the diamond necklace. At least 50 tiny gems hang from this necklace. When they catch the light, the effect is spellbinding. How do we make use of the neck? Oh, we wear the necklace. We wear the necklace. Ebenezer puts on the diamond necklace. Ebenezer gains the Arc of Iris ability. Let's see what that does. Spend 6 HP to cast a dazzling rainbow spell that deals damage and puts enemies to sleep. So if we get a rainbow person in our group, that will be of good use. Although that's kind of similar to the ability we already got for Unoya to sing. So may not be as necessary, but always nice to have. Before we forget further, let's go ahead and reload and go back to the south, and to the east, to the north, to the north, and let's rest. Let's save. Okay. All right. So we're making good progress. But it has been about 2 hours. Let's take a 5-minute break here so that I can address this demanding cat here. And I will go ahead and mute, and I'll return momentarily. All right, there we go. So we're back in the lobby, which means we can go to the north. Go further north. I thought this was supposed to be a high-class establishment, mutters Eunoia. We can go to the office if we say the password, and based on our slip of paper, the password is Dagnut. We go east, Dagnut. There's no answer, but the door opens and you step inside. Office. The office of the hotel manager is spacious and finely appointed, but it's also very dark. 2 bodyguards stand on either side of the door. A woman in a pale green dress sits on the manager's desk, inspecting her fingernails. Behind the desk is Joel Hunley himself, enormous and surly. We'll try talking to Joel. Excuse me, you say, but I don't think you're supposed to be here. Incorrectamundo, says Joel. The Royal Hawaiian is under new management. Get it? I'm the Royal Hawaiian from now on. You pull at your flaxen curls. Is there any way I could convince you to leave? Joel chortles. His bodyguards chortle. His wife titters. Very well. You draw your revolver. So, we have the 3 of us against Joel Hunley, Melissa Thayer Hunley, Zilcho Hunley, and Elvire Hunley. Let's examine the 4 of them. First, Joel is the kingpin of the Hunley Syndicate, is a gigantic man with fingers like hand grenades. Melissa, the boss's wife, carries a nasty-looking dagger. Zilcho. Joel's 2 bodyguards both wear sunglasses, so it's hard to tell them apart. Okay. Well, of the 4 of them, I suspect it's going to be the easiest to deal with the wife. So we might want to take her out first just to reduce the number of attacks we're sustaining. So let's go ahead and peck Melissa. Elizabeth, you should go ahead and shoot Melissa. And Eunoia, you should sing. Raymond descends upon Melissa Thayer Hunley and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 3 damage. Elizabeth takes a shot at Melissa Thayer Hunley and deals 5 damage. Melissa takes a step back, wiping something from her lip. Eunoia closes her eyes. She parts her lips, and syllables of unearthly beauty fill the air. Hey one, Corie, ahe one, karume. Joel Hunley falls asleep. Melissa Thayer Hunley is unaffected. Zilcho Hunley falls asleep. Elvire Hunley is unaffected. Zilcho Hunley is asleep. Elvire fires at Elizabeth and misses. Melissa cuts Freeman with her knife. Freeman takes 5 damage. Joel Hunley wakes up. Okay. Let's go ahead and have Freeman shriek this time, since they seem to be waking up. Let's go ahead and let's try flaring on Elvire, since he's already awake. And let's do a Snoidal Wave. Freeman takes a deep breath. Then he screams louder than any other crow you've ever heard. Joel Hunley shudders violently. Melissa is unaffected. Zilcho winces. Elvire shudders violently. Elizabeth summons a gout of flame and launches it at Elvire Hunley. Elvire Hunley takes 2 damage. He probably has high resistance as a big bodyguard. Okay. Eunoia gestures broadly, and a sea green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. Joel takes 10 damage. Joel's skill decreases. Melissa takes 10 damage. Zilcho takes 11 damage. Zilcho's skill decreases. Elvire takes 6 damage. Zilcho wakes up. Elvire is unable to act. Melissa stabs at Elizabeth and misses. Joel is unable to act. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take them all on again. I do think let's go ahead and shoot. Or, well, we're Freeman right now. Let's attack Zilcho, who hasn't taken any hits yet. Ebenezer should shoot Joel. And then we're going to go ahead and do another Snoidal Wave, which will probably take Eunoia out of the fight, but is going to be our most efficient attack for dealing with the crowd at once. Okay, Freeman tears into Zilcho Hunley with incredible force, dealing 6 damage. I don't know how I did that, he cries. Zilcho decides it's time to take off. He flees the scene, leaving a mirror shard behind. Ebenezer lands a hit on Joel and deals 3 damage. Eunoia gestures broadly and a sea green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. Joel takes 10. Melissa takes 10. Elvir takes 6. Melissa wipes a mirror shard off her cheek. This seems to give her an idea. She gives you a tiny salute and tiptoes out the door. Elvir tries to bolster Elvir, but he doesn't have enough energy. Joel shoots at Freeman, but he misses. Okay. At this point, Eunoia is kind of not going to be accomplishing very much, but let's go ahead and peck at the remainder. Joel and Elvir. We'll have Freeman peck Elvir. Have Ebenezer shoot Joel, and Eunoia should stab Elvir. Freeman dives at Elvir Hunley and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 5 damage. Elvir is done with this. He scrambles for the door, leaving a mirror shard behind. Ebenezer takes a shot at Joel Hunley and deals 3 damage. Eunoia's intended target is no longer valid. Joel sneers at Ebenezer. She shrugs it off. Well, now we're just going to attack Joel with everybody. Eunoia will be attacking Joel Hunley. Freeman descends upon Joel Hunley and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 1 damage. You got a lot of nerve, you little. Joel screws his eyes shut and grits his teeth. Ebenezer lands a hit on Joel and deals 3 damage. Eunoia thrusts her trident into Joel Hunley but deals no damage. Joel fires one of his dual pistols at Ebenezer. Ebenezer takes 5 damage. Okay. Maybe Joel is going to be vulnerable to ice. Let's chill. Joel. Ebenezer has 20 health. Let's go ahead and Arc of Iris, since we haven't yet. He doesn't have enough health to do any of this, so we're just going to go ahead and stab Joel. Yeah, Joel takes no damage from the ice. Ebenezer looks up and a vivid rainbow fills the air. Joel Hunley stares into the dazzling light and takes 3 damage. Eunoia strikes at Joel with her trident but deals no damage. Joel sneers at Ebenezer. She shrugs it off. Okay. Well, let's just keep pecking then. Peck Joel. Shoot Joel. And stab Joel. Freeman dives at Joel Hunley and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 1. Ebenezer fires at Joel and deals 3 damage. Joel topples face first into the floor. A mirror shard falls like a tiny diamond teardrop from his eye. You win! You lean over the kingpin and shake him gently. Gradually, he manages to sit up, rubbing his head. Gah, you really worked us over, little girl. What'd you say your name was? Ebenezer, sir. That's a new one on me, but I feel like I ought to thank you, Ebenezer. I think getting thoroughly trounced like that must have sobered me up a little. It's occurring to me that maybe I don't want to take over this hotel, you know? Maybe my criminal empire and all the wealth and power it affords me, maybe it doesn't have to be predicated on hurting people, or intimidating them, or stealing from them. Does that make any sense? It makes some sense, you tell him. I gotta think about this some more, Joel says, pulling himself to his feet. I'll clear out of these digs, maybe get one of those bungalows on the North Shore. I wonder where Melissa got to. He makes his way out of the office. Well, it was a fierce battle, but we were successful. Let's look. It's spacious and finely appointed, but very dark. Take shards. Examine Ebenezer. She is at level 3. Let's reload. And let's use Shard on Ebenezabeth. She gets more maximum HP, resistance, and speed. And let's do it one last time to bring her to 5. Max HP and magic. That's all right. You'll manage somehow. Ebenezabeth learned the rapid fire ability. Spend 12 HP to imbue your revolver with fire magic and unload all your ammunition at one enemy. That is an incredible attack. Let's look at her one last time. So she'll be at 29 health, so she can do it twice, not counting damage we take. Okay. Use Shard on Reben. He gets HP, attack, defense, speed, and skill. No way, he croaks. I tell you what, this is doing wonders for my self-esteem. Use Shard on Eunoia. She gets max HP, attack, and magic. She shrugs demonstratively. That's fine, I guess. She learned the Haze ability. Spend HP to neutralize all stat changes on an ally or enemy. Huh. Okay. There was nothing else in here. We go out to the west. West is the supply closet. Eunoia is disappointed. We go south. Let's talk to the manager. The manager gawks at you in disbelief. Are you the one who convinced Joel Hunley to get out of my office? Yes, sir, you say. He shakes his head. I don't know how anything works anymore, he mutters, but thank you. Here, you've earned this. He places a small pin in your hand. We examine the pin. A brass pin wearing the crest of the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. We wear the pin. Ebenezabeth gains the Makani ability, which is spend 3 HP to cast a wind spell that damages one enemy and raises your speed. Well, if there's one person who could use an increase in speed, it's going to be Eunoia. So put pin on Eunoia. So she will have that. So now she can accelerate herself at the start of fights and be more proactive thereafter. Let's rest while we're here. Oh, wait, look. We're at the front desk. The lobby is south. We rest here. Okay. I think we may have completed everything we need to in Hawaii. Other than, obviously, we can continue adjusting people's affinity. Let's go back and look at... Where do we want to go next? We've got Hawaii pretty much taken care of. Let's go back to Wessex in 877. No, let's go to Deimos. That is in the fire pit from here. So, go to... Oh, no, that's not where you enter commands. That's text pad. Let's go east. Oh, we're too far to the south. Let's go back to the... We talked to the teenager. Now that the gangsters are gone. Nope. Nothing new. That's fine. We go west and north and east. To the Coconut Lanai. East again. We examine the fire. And here we are back on Deimos. Let's go north from here. And west from here to the ranch house. In. We still don't have anything here that I think he's going to be interested in. I don't remember if we showed him the laser saw. No, little miss, I think you ought to hold on to that yourself. Yep, okay. Okay, let's go south. Eunoia comments, there seems to be an awful lot of nothing on this moon. Go west to the monument. West to the henge. West to the cavern. Here is where the moon beast is. Let's take out this moon beast. Down. Hideous moon beast crawls out of the cave. So let's go ahead and have Freeman start by vexing the moon beast. Ebenezabeth should rapid fire. Eunoia should Makani. Okay, Freeman descends upon the moon beast, cawing and flapping and squawking wildly. The moon beast is thoroughly distracted by the interruption. The moon beast is unable to act. Ebenezabeth takes aim at the moon beast. Her Colt glows red hot. She fires. Bang, 2 damage. 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 The revolver cools down. Ebenezabeth slumps over, exhausted. Eunoia whispers softly, and a current of piercing wind flies into the moon beast, dealing 3 damage. Eunoia's speed increases. Okay. Freeman now can keep on vexing that moon beast. Because that's really handy to just keep it unable to act. Let's go ahead and have Eunoia Vortex the moon beast, which we have not done yet. And let's have Ebenezabeth reload. Freeman descends upon the moon beast, cawing and flapping and squawking wildly. The moon beast doesn't flinch. The moon beast digs its fangs into Eunoia. Eunoia takes 10 damage. Ouch. Eunoia stomps her foot. How dare you, she shrieks. Eunoia summons a torrent of water aimed right at the moon beast. The moon beast takes 6 damage. The creature shakes its head inscrutably. Ebenezabeth reloads her revolver. So, Eunoia is once again reduced to 2 HP and an inability to act further beyond simple attacks. So, that's all she's going to be doing anyway. Let's have Freeman peck the moon beast. Let's have Eunoia stab. Yeah, let's just go ahead and have her stab the moon beast. And let's have Ebenezabeth bolster Eunoia so that she will be of more use while she is attacking. Freeman swoops down on the moon beast and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 3 damage. The moon beast unhinges its jaw and spews out a cloud of acid. Ebenezabeth avoids the attack. Eunoia's resistance falls. Freeman's resistance falls, but none of them take actual damage, so that's good. Eunoia stabs the moon beast with a trident but deals no damage. Ebenezabeth raises a hand wreathed in soft orange flames. The fire leaps towards Eunoia. Eunoia's attack increases. Eunoia's speed returns to normal. Oh, okay. So that's how long that lasts for. Unfortunate. Let's go ahead and see what happens if we have Freeman chill the moon beast. Maybe it has a low resistance for some reason. Ebenezabeth should rapid fire on the moon beast. And Eunoia should stab the moon beast. Freeman conjures a ribbon of elemental ice and fires it at the moon beast, which takes no damage. The moon beast claws at Ebenezabeth. Oh, Ebenezabeth takes 7 damage. She's not going to be able to rapid fire anymore. She doesn't have enough energy. Eunoia levels the points of her trident at the moon beast. In the name of Poseidon, I sentence you to this. With a furious thrust, she finds her mark, and the moon beast takes 2 damage. That seems to be a critical hit. Doing once. That's not great. Ebenezabeth, you need to... It's unfortunate that we can't have Freeman be the healer because he's the one who actually has the health. Let's go ahead and still have him peck the moon beast. Actually, let's have him vex the moon beast. Let's try and see if we can upset it again. Ebenezabeth, you can flare moon beast, and Eunoia should stab at the moon beast. The Freeman successfully distracts the Moon Beast, which is unable to act. Evanesibeth's Gout of Flame deals 2 damage to the Moon Beast. Yunoya strikes, dealing no damage. Okay, so we're spending a lot of effort and resources for very little gain, it seems like. This may still be outside of our scope of ability. But we're going to go ahead and peck Moon Beast. Ebenesibeth should shoot the Moon Beast. And Yunoya should stab the Moon Beast. Freeman's attack deals 3. The Moon Beast recovers 15 HP. Oh no. Ebenesibeth does 4. Yunoya deals no damage. Okay, on that note, we're going to be fleeing. So, we got away. Let's go northeast to the barn. Let's go east to the ranch house. Let's go in and let's rest. Okay. We have this antenna. What is this useful for? Let's go out. Let's try jumping. Okay, yeah, nothing noteworthy there. Let's go southeast, the wasteland. If we go east, it's back to the observatory. East again is the cavern. East again is the henge. East is the monument. Catch cow with antenna. Oh, no. Climb statue. Nope. Jump. Nope. Okay. Let's go west to the henge. Cavern observatory. And the wasteland. The daytime side of Deimos is somewhat cheerier than the night, but there's nothing to be cheery about here except rocks. There's the sun. The sun is much smaller than you're used to, but it lights up the side of the moon just fine. But it is not such a overpowering presence that we can use for fire travel. Okay. Let's go southeast. Nope, southwest. Nope, south. Helps to read the text. Okay, we're back in the wrecked barn. Go east to the overgrown field. Can we deal with a herd of cattle? I'm going to guess yes, we can. Let's examine the grass. Search the grass. Herd of feral cattle leaps out and attacks. We're going to be taking these guys out with our area abilities. So, Freeman, let's start out with a shriek. Let's do Arc of Iris with Ebenesibeth, and let's do Sonoidal Wave to get them all. Freeman takes a deep breath, and he screams louder than any other crow you've ever heard. The feral bull flinches. The feral cow is unaffected. The feral steer winces. The feral bull is unable to act. The feral cow tramples Yunoya mercilessly. Yunoya takes 22 damage. Yunoya staggers. This isn't as fun as I thought it would be. She falls to the ground. The feral steer is unable to act. Ebenesibeth looks up and a vivid rainbow fills the air. Okay, they're dealing 22 damage. We are not prepared to deal with these guys because Yunoya has fainted. We are going to flee. Okay. Well, that is still outside our ability as well. Rest. Coal. Okay. Let's examine the fire. Back to Finland. Let's go northwest here. Let's see this troll. Hunched, muscular creature wrapped in crude furs. The club it carries is bigger than you. But can the three of us take it out? Let's see. Talk to the troll. The troll notices your attention, but it doesn't react until you get too close. Then it raises its club and leaps forward to attack. Freeman should start by vexing the troll. Ebenezer, go ahead and bolster Eunoia now. No, by the time she's actually attacking, it'll have worn off. Ebenezer, use Flare on the troll. Eunoia, because trolls are historically weak to fire. Like, we're not doing elemental weaknesses, but I'm wondering if it has lower resistance to model that element. Let's go ahead and Makani. The troll ignores Freeman's distraction. Ebenezer summons a gout of flame and launches it at the troll. The troll takes 5 damage. It stumbles back, dazed for a moment, then it roars furiously. Eunoia whispers softly, and a current of piercing wind flies into the troll, dealing 6 damage. Eunoia's speed increases. The troll swats at Freeman with its club and misses. Okay, yeah, weak to magic, it looks like. So, it's probably strong against ice, but that's what Freeman has. Let's go ahead and try attacking it with chill. Let's go ahead and Vortex with Eunoia and Flare again with Ebenezer. Okay, yeah, the troll takes no damage from chill. Eunoia summons a torrent of water. The troll takes 9 damage. Then the troll howls and a mirror of shard flies out of its mouth. Then it flees into the woods. You win. Take shard. That's stats. Is that a... What was the command? Let's open that back up again. The combat basics, inventory and examine. Options command gives the rundown. I want to try it. We go to options. Combat options are decompressed, so you'll see the long descriptions for all of a unit's abilities on each unit's turn. This will become tiresome when you know how everything works, or when a unit has a ton of abilities. To see less information but more convenient option lists, enter the command compress or toggle option compression. Fast battle is disabled, so there's a press any key prompt in between units' turns. To turn fast battle on, I don't recommend this, enter the command toggle fast battle. Showing all combatants all the time is disabled. To enable this so that the whole list of every unit appears on each unit's turn as you give orders in battle, enter the command toggle full combatants. That is all. Okay, well, that is examine Ebenezer. She is at level 5, right? Examine Freeman. He is at level 4. And examine Eunoia. She is at level 4. Of the two of them, I think I want Eunoia to have more stats so she is less likely to be out of effectiveness as quickly as she is. So let's use Shard on Eunoia. She gets a max HP, an attack, and a magic. She's learned the Embrace ability. Spend 4 HP to surround your allies with healing magic, restoring 14 HP to each of them. That's fantastic. Okay. And let's go south. Let's go in and rest. Go out. Southeast. Here are our foxes. Let's take them out while we're here. Okay. So, like before, let's peck the vixen. Let's... I keep forgetting to reload with her. Let's go ahead and flare the vixen. And let's Snoidle Wave. Raymond dives at the Arctic Vixen and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 6. Arctic Fox fixes Eunoia with an unnerving glare, but Eunoia ignores it. The Arctic Vixen leaps up into Ebenezabeth's face and starts clawing and biting and screeching. Ebenezabeth takes 4 damage. Ebenezabeth pushes her hair out of her eyes. She summons a gout of flame and launches it at the Arctic Vixen. The Arctic Vixen takes 9 damage. The Arctic Vixen coughs up a mirror shard and falls over. The Arctic Fox stops in his tracks. He hacks up a mirror shard, and then he falls down. Oh. Oh, yeah, they are think I missed a line there. Okay, we won, though. Soon the foxes returned to their senses. Thank you, little girl, says the vixen. We would never have been so untoward if not for the Snow Queen and her wicked mirror shards. No, never, says her husband. All the same, we must make amends for the wrongs we have committed. I must do 30 good deeds, and you, wife, must do 30 good deeds as well. Come. He trots away. The vixen looks up at you and rolls her eyes before she turns to follow. Okay, so we need to give Freeman a shard. And he levels up, gets attack, defense, magic, and resistance, and gains the Gouge ability. Spend 5 HP to pounce on an enemy's weak spot, dealing damage and lowering the target's speed and skill, which is fantastic. I like that. Which, fortunately, means that everybody is at 5. So while we can continue leveling up, it is perhaps not useful to do so until we get our next party member. So let's go back to the northwest, in, rest, out, southeast. The wasteland is dark, so we can't go south. Yeah, it's unwise. Let's go northeast to the mausoleum. Can we take on the mummy? Let's not try yet. Let's go north to the lake's edge. There's a polar bear. Which is a polar bear scarier than a mummy? I think that's going to be a question we answer next time. Let's save our game and call it here. So here is March, save, overwrite. And we can resume this next week. And this will conclude today's stream. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back again.